There. As we move into Tuesday, tomorrow, so there could be some snow across parts of the Northeast. I just want to show you this. If you have a flight, maybe you're traveling for the Christmas holiday, that's really where I see most of the at least travel impacts possibly showing up over the eastern half of the country for tomorrow. But for us, we are going to have some nice weather coming up if you need to wrap up some Christmas shopping. Tomorrow, we'll have some sunshine coming back by the afternoon. I mentioned maybe a shower or some drizzle this evening. Just not a lot out there. Dry and warm for Christmas Day. Highs in the 70s, and we got cold front on the way for Sunday. That is the next big thing that we're going to be talking about. Those temperatures taking a big tumble Sunday and into Monday and next week. So yes, this time next week we'll be talking about temperatures for highs back in the 40s. So how about 70s for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day? If you're a fan of those temperatures, enjoy it again, because we'll be talking about those colder conditions coming up towards next week. But a lot to talk about as far as rain chances with that system this weekend. And we're going to be counting down, as we talked about, Tania. We're talking about the holidays here coming up. I mentioned just 10 days away from New Year's Day. It's hard to imagine, and Christmas almost here, but we will get back to wintertime. We will get back to those colder conditions.
We certainly will, Wes. But hey, if people have plans this week, you can really get out and enjoy these warmer temperatures. Look at these high temperatures. We're several degrees above average. I know Chief Meteorologist Wes White is going to show you the 10-day forecast in just a bit, but notice our average is around 56, and we're trending 10 plus degrees above that. 75 Christmas Day, and then notice upper 60s by Sunday. And then, like Wes was mentioning, winter makes a return. We've got a big drop in temperatures as we head into early next week. We're talking about mid 40s. I do want to show you a little bit later when we take a full look at that beyond the 10-day forecast, what we could be looking like heading into the first few days of January. So stay with us. That's coming up very soon. Well, this could be helpful tips as some of you may be packing for travel during the holidays. Though we're seeing warmth here, other places across the U.S. are actually seeing the opposite. So what could be record-breaking year-end travel could be delayed due to winter weather. Fox News' correspondent Madison Scarpino has more from Atlanta.
Tens of millions of Americans are hitting the road this Christmas season, but weather disruptions could cause headaches.
We're finally getting time to go visit our families, and it's Christmas time, so there's kind of this zest in the air. So we got 5 hours under our belt.
A powerful winter storm in the west, expected to blanket the area with heavy snow on Tuesday, could dampen spirits for some traveling on the ground and even in the air. The National Weather Service warns some mountainous areas in California could get up to 4 feet of snow. Airports from San Francisco to New Jersey are bracing for possible weather-related flight delays in the coming days, with the eastern U.S. potentially seeing light snow and freezing rain the day before Christmas Eve. Travel experts recommend flyers stay up to date with their airline app.
If you are concerned about any sort of delays or cancellations, we always recommend that you download the app for your airline and make sure you turn on the alerts.
This year, Florida, California, and Hawaii are dominating the top holiday destinations for domestic travel.
We kept thinking that, okay, there are a lot of people traveling out, but it turned out there are more people coming into San Francisco, which is why we were stuck.
The American Automobile Association says the best times to travel by car are Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But if you're planning to leave ahead of that, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday after 11 a.m. are expected to be the worst times for traffic. In Atlanta, Madison Scarpino, Fox News.
Well, I do want to give you a look at how conditions could feel because we're a lot warmer this week and milder air settling in. It might just feel a tad bit more muggy outside. We've got dew points trending in the 50s and possibly low 60s as we approach the end of this week. So, yeah, it might just feel a little bit more like spring, but we do have some drier and possibly colder air early next week that we'll talk to you more about here in just a bit. But as we head deeper into these winter months, we're on your side with the best practices to protect your skin when the air is dry. Medical experts say it's critical for everyone to stay properly hydrated throughout the winter because dry, cold air can make it hard to stay moisturized. And I know firsthand, dehydration, though, can lead to dizziness and fatigue and also cause painful chapped lips and irritated skin. Drinking enough water can help combat these symptoms.
When we're well hydrated on the inside, we're also better hydrated on the outside. Helping with dry skin, it also helps lubricate between our joints.
Well, staying away from drinks with caffeine, ooh, there's my cup of coffee right there, and alcohol can also prevent dehydration. Well, an atmospheric river dropping heavy rain across California. We're bringing you the Weather Extra on how they're beginning the cleanup process and what you can expect for your Monday night in 30 seconds.
All right, if you're doing some holiday shopping tomorrow, the weather is going to cooperate. It looks like if you're heading out and about, we're going to see highs right around 70 degrees. Some sunshine coming back for the afternoon. I'm looking forward to that. It's been so gloomy out there today, but we'll have some cloud breaks. Don't be surprised out the door in the morning if you encounter a shower, but I wouldn't rush to cancel any plans. There is a very small chance for a few sprinkles, maybe an isolated shower, but that's about it for tomorrow. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, about as nice as it can get around here. We're going to have some sunshine, highs in the 70s, but don't put away the jacket. Some cold weather's coming over the weekend. That's going to be the next big thing we're talking about. Again, not too windy tomorrow. That breeze will be out of the south at about 4 to 8 miles per hour, but a lot of big temperature changes, and typically, you know, around here, if we're not seeing a lot of rain in our region, well, it's raining in other parts of the country, right, Tania?
It certainly is, Wes. An atmospheric river, which is really just like the jet stream, is sweeping through northern California and the Sierra Nevada mountains, bringing heavy flooding and road closures across parts of the region. This comes right in the middle of the busiest holiday travel season, and Ivan Rodriguez reports on the latest impacts of this storm.
A series of atmospheric fueled storms pumping heavy rain into California this week, already proving deadly.
This is pretty crazy. I've never seen it like this.
Heavy rain flooding roadways, including parts of Interstate 5, according to officials. In Humboldt County, crews performed water rescue Sunday where the floodwater was chest deep in some places, prompting officials to use jet skis and small boats to access certain neighborhoods. Heavy rain and potential flooding is expected to continue in Northern California into Tuesday before a more widespread storm steps up to the plate and slams the entire state. A level 3 of floor flooding threat is in place for more than 17 million people in Southern California on Wednesday, according to the Weather Prediction Center. Then yet another atmospheric river will be on its heels, keeping stormy conditions into Friday. Los Angeles could see anywhere from 2 months' worth of rain to nearly half a year's worth of rain in just 1 week.
We've got a big population density in and around Los Angeles, San Diego, and not to mention the recent burn scars for this area that will lead to the potential of flash flooding, mudslides, landslides, rock slides, with days of rain coming in.
Some relief for this non-stop stormy pattern may finally arrive by the weekend. I'm Ivan Rodriguez reporting.
And while some parts of the West Coast are dealing with the rain, well, the other half is dealing with warmer temperatures, leading to not enough snow, ruining some favorite holiday activities like the ski resorts. They're resorting to using wagons for their guests instead of sleighs under Rocky Mountain peaks. The lack of snow also causing resorts, to struggle in opening runs and building the walk-through ice palaces. And with snow being crucial for ski tourism, one stable owner in Colorado hopes the wagons will be a good enough substitute for riding through mountain scenery.
December is when we make most of our money. And so if there's not a good December, then we kind of have to start thinking ahead of what can we do for the community, our customers, to make them more, intrigued to come here.
Most of the West is facing a very deep snow drought as the precipitation is mostly rain due to the warmer temperatures. And at Yellowstone National Park, the Black Diamond Pool undergoing what's being called a mud eruption. Eruptions like this aren't often visible because many happen at night. A major mud eruption happened back in July 2024, sending rocks and mud flying hundreds of feet high and damaged a boardwalk. Eruptions since then can go as high as 40 feet into the air. And check this out. Above the atmosphere, German aerospace engineer Michaela Benthaus became the first wheelchair user ever to travel to the edge of space. The flight lasted about 10 minutes. So cool. She says she used a special strap to keep her legs bound as she exited her seat to enjoy the thrill of weightlessness. Ahead of the flight, Bentha said she always wanted to go to space, but didn't think it was something she could actually do. Kudos to her. Well, coming up on Weather Extra, pollution doesn't always have to be physical items. Noise pollution can leave just as big as an impact on our health. Find out how after the break.
And welcome back into Weather Extra. As we look ahead, we've got some warm weather coming up for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. But look at some of the long-range data coming up for the weekend. And let me step aside. You can see the time. There's Friday, Saturday. Let's take it on into Sunday. And you can see this weekend there's another cold front that moves in. Now, the models differ on just how much rain we could see with this, but we do have some models that suggest a nice little chance of a line of rain, possibly a storm moving through Sunday evening, and then the temperatures tumble, and this time next week highs back in the 40s. So we're about to see that weather whiplash again, some big changes on the way. Again, it looks like highs in the 40s, and yes, freezing temperatures will make a return early next week. So check the weather app, because we'll be fine-tuning when you'll need to protect the plants. And a nice few days, though, coming up if you want to set the plants out to take in some sunshine with temperatures in the 70s through Christmas. You can see 75 degrees there for an afternoon high there on Christmas Day. Overnight lows in the 50s. So let's walk through tomorrow. 71 degrees for a high temperature. Yeah, we'll have some clouds around during the morning. You can see that's 6 o'clock in the morning. We're seeing that chance of rain. Not seeing a lot of wet weather if you're traveling tomorrow all around the state. Let's just pan the map around. You can see even in the morning down in the South Alabama, there will be more sunshine if you are traveling in that direction. Maybe a stray shower again in the afternoon, some breaks in the clouds, some sunshine coming back, so that will be nice. You can see even Gadsden, even over around Coleman, some nice breaks in the clouds through tomorrow evening, but milder at night. We'll have maybe some early morning low clouds coming back, maybe some patchy fog early Wednesday and Thursday, but afternoon highs in the 70s, lows in the 50s. Check out Christmas Day. I have 75 on average, but you can see for some areas, look at Anniston, 76, Pell City around 76, Tuscaloosa. So yeah, big warm up on the way. Wouldn't surprise me to see some upper 70s there by Thursday afternoon. And Friday actually looks like another very nice day, 72 degrees, nice warm up, lows in the 50s. Saturday looks dry, but it's Sunday when that cold front is going to move in. Again, you can see this is a look at some of the global data. This is the European model, and it shows a pretty good chance of rain there through the evening. But notice by 11 o'clock Sunday night, it has that front through here, and that's when the temperatures fall sharply into Monday morning. We're down to 32, high of 45. We stay mostly cloudy. And then that final Tuesday of the year, 46 for a high temperature, will start out in the 20s. So I do expect the freeze, a first alert for next Monday night for freezing temperatures. And then after that, we'll have highs in the 50s. Thursday, a week from Thursday, New Year's Day, highs in the 50s, and we could see some rain coming back as we kick off 2026, which Tania is standing by right now. And Tania, as we look ahead into the long-range forecast, it does look like the warm weather is certainly not here to stay. As we move into next week, we're going to be talking about Monday, Tuesday, much colder. So enjoy the 70s if you're a fan while they last.
I know. Listen, I'm not a fan of the cold, so I'm definitely going to be outside this week. I don't know about you, Wes.
Hey, Santa brings all the goodies, right? You get to get out and enjoy it on Christmas Day. It will be sunny, those new bikes, and should be some nice weather. And not too bad for Friday and Saturday as well. So if you have those days off,
traveling
into the weekend,
through the southeast, not too bad weather. I mean, it's going to be pretty good for those of us that are going to be outside or on the road. But I do want to take you beyond that 10-day forecast because, yes, we see a drop in temperatures beyond the 10-day. Look at that. So maybe some 20s. This is only one model run, so we can't just call this the gospel. But here we are looking at December the 31st, still seeing some chill in the air. This is an afternoon temperature, and it doesn't look like many areas will break out of the 40s. Still seeing some freezing or near freezing temps overnight, but possibly back into the first few days of January, we might see some milder afternoons and maybe even some 60s as we get beyond that 10-day forecast. But I do want to take a look at just rain chances here. Notice we're not tracking a whole lot of wet weather into the first, I would say, really through the end of the month of December. This is January 3rd, though, and one model was indicating that we could see a few showers or at least some increase in clouds as we approach the 3rd of the month of January. But beyond that, I'm not seeing a whole lot of wet weather. Maybe around the 5th or 6th, another front moves through and brings us a few showers. But that's our look beyond that 10-day forecast. We'll certainly keep an eye on it. As of right now, we do look dry for January 1st and January 2nd. So your New Year's Day, not too shabby. We'll keep a close eye on it for you. And of course, we'll have more right here on First Weather Extra after the break. And more, well, this I want to tell you about more and more. We live in a noisy world, but did you know that exposure to loud noises can not only lead to hearing loss, but recent research has linked it to several serious health issues. In this week's Degrees of Science, meteorologist Brady Taylor talks with a professor from the University of Michigan on the impacts noise pollution has on us.
We define noise pollution as either unwanted or harmful sound. Unwanted sounds, you might imagine living next to a freeway or an airport. I think most people would agree, I don't want that, that's noise. But we're also recognizing that high levels of sound, even if it's desirable, like a concert or high levels of music, can still be harmful. And so we still consider that noise pollution.
What kind of a hearing loss or impacts can this noise pollution cause?
High levels of exposure to noise chronically can absolutely lead to irreversible, permanent noise-induced hearing loss. And I think that's what most people think of when they think of noise, if they think about it at all. But in the past 30 years or so, we've had this quite large body of research evidence emerge that suggests that hearing loss might just be the tip of the iceberg. In fact, noise has been pretty convincingly associated with things like increased risk of a heart attack, increased risk of stroke, of high blood pressure, of depression, cognitive decline, learning impacts in children. The list goes on and on.
Are there some good strategies or practices people can do to try to reduce that noise pollution and that exposure to those loud noises?
There are. That's the good news. And in fact, the sort of order that we do these things in is the same, whether you're living in your home or whether you're at a workplace. So first, we want to think about, can I eliminate some types of noise from my life? Am I exposed to noise that I just don't need? If I can cut that out of my life, I'm immediately reducing my risk of health effects. If I can't cut it out altogether, but maybe, for instance, if I have a choice between a super powerful piece of equipment for home yard care and one that's not as powerful, but will still get the job done, less powerful machinery is almost always quieter. If that doesn't work, I can think about maybe making some physical changes to my environment. You know, in a workplace, maybe we build a booth around a worker to keep the noise out so that worker's not exposed. At home, maybe I think about installing some noise dampening materials on my walls, putting up, drapes, things like that that might help reduce sound. After that, we could think about, well, can I limit the amount of time that I spend in noise? Some workplaces will say, hey, you can only do this job for 6 hours and then you're done for the day because your ears have had their complete dose. And then last and least, we come to hearing protection. That would be earplugs or earmuffs. And I say this not because those things don't work. They can work quite well to protect you. But in order to wear those correctly, you need to understand, well, when do I wear this? For how long? How do I tell if I'm wearing it correctly?
Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Some viewer photos. This one, Brandon Duro sitting this one in. A sunset from Duck Springs. Just how gorgeous, Wes.
What a gorgeous sunset. That was the first sunset of winter, and it certainly didn't disappoint. Next is Scott Carroll, another beautiful sunset view, this time from Weiss Lake. And how vibrant. Look at those colors. There was actually a fire nearby. You can see some of that smoke really set off the colors there.
Denise sent in this one. This is a beautiful sunset picture from Logan Martin Lake.
Logan Martin always showing off.
Hey, great week to be at the lake, man. I tell you.
Right, talking mid-70s. Wow. And heading over to Lake Mitchell, Kaylee Doucette sharing this lovely sunrise photo. We appreciate you sharing that on the First Alert Weather app.
Absolutely. And last but certainly not least, Jonna Ransom sent this one in. This is from Pollard's Bend, sharing a gorgeous sunrise photo. How beautiful. Remember,
man, what a cotton candy sky.
I know, just gorgeous. I love seeing sunsets like that. You can share your pictures with us on the First Alert Weather app for a chance to be featured right here on First Alert Weather Extra.
I know we're going to be checking that app. We might see some Santa Claus spottings on there this week. Yeah.
I know. No snow. Certainly no snow.
Yeah, looking forward to tracking Santa this week. That's about the only thing it looks like Christmas
that we'll
Eve.
be tracking.
Yeah, right. I mean, we've got some warm temperatures, 73 on Wednesday, 75 on Thursday. And I mentioned this earlier, Tania. You know, I've been here Christmas Day tracking snow, tracking tornadoes.
I know.
So when we have 75 and sunshine,
no complaints.
No complaints.
No complaints. Maybe some rain around by the end of the weekend, and a big drop in temperatures expected by early next week.
Yeah, it's coming early next week. This time next week, you just know that next surge of winter air is coming, and be ready for winter's big return around Monday of next week. But we'll be back tonight.
Oh, we certainly will. More updates first at 9 and 10. Have a safe and wonderful evening.